stars who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing. This is World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hi, everyone. Hi. I'm Fenton Bailey, co-founder of World of Wonder, joined, as always, by the magnificent Tom Campbell.
Hello,
magnificent.
Chief Creative Officer. Chief Creative Officer at World of Wonder, and the no less fabulous James St. James.
Why, that doesn't seem
I get top billing this week.
Just back from vacation.
Yes, I am reinvigorated.
Strangely good mood.
Yes, we have not been in the same room for a while.
It has been a couple weeks, yeah.
Something I'm grateful for.
Yes.
So
We haven't been together?
no, the reunion.
I am so happy to get some time away from you.
We are counting down the top 10 things that made us go wow this week. So without further ado, number 10, Tom.
Number 10.
Well, I finally saw the gay film of the century.
How dare you?
Oh, it's being purported that way.
It really is.
Call Me By Your Name.
I know.
Everyone loves it.
Now,
Well,
before you jump in,
I'm sorry.
because I want you to jump in, because you haven't seen it.
No, and I won't.
You
I
haven't
won't
seen
see it.
I know. These are some.
Tell us about the
Some of the reviews.
Yes.
The New York Times, and I can't say his name. Luca Guadagnino. Thank you. Call Me By Your Name is a cinematic ravishment of the senses with a strong narrative tethering all the feelings and sensuous surfaces. The Atlantic. Each element is carefully calibrated but deployed with consummate grace. This is a film to rush to and then savor every minute of. The Atlantic, I'm almost done. Even as he beguiles us with mystery. Guadagnino creates Elio's life-changing summer with such intensity that we might as well be experiencing it firsthand.
Ah, I love that.
And yet I feel the words overrated and meandering come to mind.
Hey,
Now,
here
at
we
the very
go.
least, people love this movie. People are affected. Sometimes with movies, you either get on the ride and go up and down and around and around and around, or you sit on the side and watch people go up and down and go around and around.
Yes, but rarely has a film been preceded by so much unanimous critical, ravishment of the senses.
It's a gay coming of age.
Right.
It's a visual. It's set in Italy. The
Timothée Chalamet is gorgeous. Armie Hammer is gorgeous.
and the young actor Timothée is a revelation. I mean, he gives a fantastic performance.
Oscar worthy?
Yes.
Okay.
Armie is gorgeous. People are saying he's not a good actor. I think he's a fine actor. He feels too old. He feels miscast. It's supposed to be a love affair between a 17-year-old boy and a 25-year-old
And
grad
he's
student.
45 if he's a day.
He's 31 or something, but he looks older.
Yes.
Now, it's set in 1983, and the thing they got so right, this is what should win the Oscar. Big, blousy shorts. Big, short, blousy shorts.
I remember those, yes, with your little legs sticking through.
Yes, we thought we were so cute. You know, nothing. It's part of it's just me and my temperament, but it's like it's so slow. There is no antagonist. They celebrate that.
It's lugubrious.
Everyone told me you'd be sobbing and everything like that.
I feel that way. I know I'm terrible because I'm hard and I've lost. And you know, it's just I'm the Grinch. You need to like grow 4 sizes. But it's set in '83, and because nothing's happening, no narrative is driving hard. It gives you time to think like, what could happen? What's around the corner? Was something behind that potted plant? Forgive me. And you know, it's set in '83. It's about sort of a gay relationship, and I'm expecting AIDS, but it doesn't happen. Thank God. Thank God. But it just
Tell me about the peach.
Oh, that's the best part. So at one point,
Is that a spoiler? Let's talk about the peach.
No, I think it's been talked about in lots of articles.
In a very slow scene, meandering scene, the boy has, I think he's made out with Armie's character, and so he's in bed and he's kind of horny, and he takes a peach and he takes the pit out of it. You don't know what he's doing. Is he going to eat it? What's he going to do? It's hot. These summers on top of the sheets, and he ends up
masturbating, using it as a fleshlight.
There you go.
So
and he has full release, and then Armie comes in and wants to take a bite of his peach.
I do like that.
I know. It didn't have it to me. It lacked the horniness, and again, maybe I'm just a twisted person, but like, it felt more like a straight person doing a gay movie. It felt like almost like did you see it, Blake? It felt like the summer of. It felt like Demi Lovato's cool for the summer. It felt very like this summer we're gay.
The thing is,
who wrote it? James Ivory, who's 89, who did Maurice and all those lovely sort of theme park Brittany, dreamy, literary Henry James type movies.
The thing is, and I'm going to go off for a second, but I do want to say that I was 17 in 1983, so I know a little bit wherever I speak where that 17, and especially in the 80s, like there was a driving force. There was no lugubrious, melancholy back. It was like everything was like top. It was hump. It was top speed. It was your fourth gear. You were go, and there was no sort of.
I'm sure people had different experiences, but if it didn't feel horny enough, why haven't you seen this movie? And why won't you, James?
Okay, and this is just strictly me because
Freak Show. Strictly you.
Okay, Freak Show has been traveling around in the same circles.
The movie based on your book.
The movie based on my book has been in all the gay,
festivals.
It's been in all the gay festivals with "Call Me by Your Name," and "Call Me by Your Name" is a steamroller. It's
just straightforward jealousy.
It is straightforward jealousy.
Should have had a scene with a peach.
Imagine if you had a movie coming out the same year as Brokeback Mountain, a gay movie. It's like it has taken all the oxygen out of the gay press, where nobody else. There's like 10 other gay movies out right now, and not one of them can get an article in any gay magazine or anything because "Call Me by Your Name" is taking over everything.
May I give you a title for your next book that become a movie that might do? Is that a banana in your pocket? Maybe that would help. Maybe that would help with some fruit with this.
I was going to say to James, Papa, don't peach.
We should stop at the fruit. Listen, I would say
what's so funny about peach love and understanding?
You spent some time on this. Okay, get them all out. Get them all out.
James and the Giant Peach.
I always, it's got. If you loved it, I'm sorry. If I've lowered your expectations, I feel like that's my job is to lower people's expectations. So they'll go and go. Well, actually, I don't know what Tom was grousing about. It was fine.
That's totally true because every time I hear so much about a movie, I invariably disappointed. So thank you for this public service.
I'm here for you.
Call Me by Your Name is playing in theaters nationwide. Check your local listings. Number 9, top 10 things men just go, wow, James.
Number 9.
I saw a really fantastic movie.
Oh, good.
Justice League.
That is a lie.
No, it was pretty bad. But my 10-year-old self really enjoyed it. There were a number of problems with it that I want to sort of get into.
This has every
It is all the DC superheroes all together. And the problem with it is that tonally it is just wrong. It's Zack Snyder, who is the director. He's the hack. He can't get DC. He's a horrible director.
What?
He's terrible.
He did the 300, didn't he?
Yeah, that was
hot Spartans.
It was okay. 300
CGI muscles.
Penis buffet, I thought, for you.
But there's a number of problems with this, and I sort of want to get into it a little bit because, number one, Henry Cavill as Superman, they get wrong every single time. This is the third movie they've done with him. And they keep making Superman this gloomy, like, conflicted character. Superman is, like, the most powerful being in the universe. He doesn't need to be gloomy. He doesn't need to be Batman. They just get it wrong.
We've got a Batman.
Batfleck, who is terrible in this as well. He's just sort of pudgy and like Moreau. It's just wrong. Anyway, but the big problem with Henry Cavill in this movie is he was doing another movie at the same time, okay? Concurrently, he was filming this other movie, and he had a beard for that. And contractually, they weren't allowed to get rid of the beard for Justice League. And Superman doesn't have a beard. So they CGI'd the bottom half of Henry Cavill's face every scene. And it's this weird blur with a cartoon mouth drawn on.
It sounds kind of great.
You look at it, you just think, what the fuck is going on
Why
with Henry
did he bother
Cavill?
showing up at all? Why did they just CGI him?
And what's amazing is I haven't heard that. I've heard lots about the film, but no one's mentioned the beard.
You go in. That's why I'm here. I'm here for these things. Gal Gadot, because it's not
Wonder Woman, right?
Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. She's adorable. You can't take your eyes off her. You love her.
Right.
Jason Momoa as Aquaman is terrible, too. And I was really excited for him because I love him on Game of Thrones.
Is that the debut of Aquaman? Have you seen him before?
When is the Aquaman movie?
There is an Aquaman movie coming out in 2019, I believe.
I just saw the poster, and I didn't like his style.
No. His hair is fried. He looks better with a man bun in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
He in Game of Thrones, he's sort of monosyllabic and he's really hot. In this, he opens his mouth a lot and he's douchey as fuck, and it's just terrible. They should have gone with Charlie Hunnam. Charlie Hunnam would have been a fantastic Aquaman.
Formerly of Queer as Folk, the little twink. But he's turned all muscly.
And Sons of Anarchy.
He's grown up all man. Yeah.
He's a big man, and with blonde hair, he would have been perfect. Ezra Miller, queer poster boy Ezra Miller, who we love.
I've just discovered him with all these postings on the internets and blogs. I mean, he's really good looking, right?
We need to talk about Kevin. Was his big breakthrough role. Remember, he was the psychopathic boy who Tilda Swinton was his mother. He shot up the school.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Anyway, so in this, he's Flash, and he's a real revelation in this. He's the wild card. He's absolutely adorable. He's playing it for comedy. He's doing comedy relief. He's doing shtick, but he's sort of in another movie altogether because everything else
Which
is
sounds
gloomy.
like a good thing because it wasn't such a good
his movie will be good. I think so.
Here's the thing. I think DC have failed with their extended universe. It's just not funny enough. It takes itself too seriously. Whereas Marvel, with theirs, they're just having a laugh a minute, you know, Thor, Ragnarok, etc., etc., and it's working for them.
It is working for them. What they thought they were doing was extending the Christopher Nolan sort of aesthetic of Batman, and they were going to keep it gloomy, and that doesn't work. No. And what they have Zack Snyder doing the gloomy, and then they brought Joss Whedon in to fix things when it wasn't working, and Joss Whedon just puts quips on top of the gloom, and it just doesn't work at all. The villain was really bad. The villain was just stupid. DC has some really bad. DC. What?
Anything good to say about the movie?
Yeah, no, Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller. Like I said, but he's doing. He's like Buster Keaton. No, he's totally doing like a silent movie Buster Keaton. He's all rubbernecked and googly eyed and spit takes.
I may wait until it's on cable before I see it.
It'll be on every day, so you can watch it.
Justice League is open in theaters nationwide.
Yeah. Ezra Miller, totally hot.
Check your local listings. Okay, number 8.
Number 8.
This really made me go, oh my God. What are you doing?
James is passing.
It's my moment.
LA is on fire.
You choose to have a fit.
LA's on fire. The air quality is very bad, and James is our canary in the coal mine. When he dies, we need to leave the building.
I'm very sensitive to these things.
Tonya. Oh. This is the movie about Tonya Harding, the skating scandal in 1994. First of all, you should say, you got to know that Tonya Harding was the first woman to successfully execute a triple axel. I have no idea what that is, but it was an amazing, impossible to do feat.
Yes.
And she did it.
Yeah.
And Tonya Harding came from a bad background. She was abused growing up. She actually wasn't classy. She was white trash. And she had no money, and so the whole figure skating world.
She was up against a Disney princess.
Yes, Nancy Kerrigan, and the whole figure skating world is all about etiquette and sort of dresses and
what an
it's
underdog
about pretty.
In some ways, right?
Yes, it's princesses exactly. And so anyway, Tanya and Nancy at the top of their game, and Harding's husband and douchebag husband and douchebag bodyguard hatched a plot, hired a guy to attack Nancy Kerrigan with a, what do you call those things?
With a pipe. Club, a stick,
a pipe.
A baton.
A baton? No, it was more than a baton. It was like a baton.
A billy club.
What are those things that you do tires? Oh, it's getting...
A caveman club.
No,
Let's make it a trivia question this week.
So anyway, long story.
A tire iron.
Thank you. Short story long. Nancy was out of the... So the idea that she couldn't be able to compete in the 1994 Winter Olympics.
Why me?
Tonya was banned, and we actually did hear from her since. She made a porno movie with her husband, which is pretty amazing.
You watched it? Did you watch it?
I've seen it, yes. I mean...
Didn't she do boxing on Fox?
And then she became a celebrity boxer.
Yeah.
But this movie, I have to tell you, it's so good. It's done
who
as all
plays
scripted
her?
movies should be as a mockumentary, because we all know documentaries, truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
And by embracing that sort of method of approach, they set it up at the beginning saying this is based on interviews between Tonya and her husband, and they're completely opposite stories. And from that moment, you're in for a wild
Wait, who plays
ride.
Tonya?
Oh, gosh, I've left it out.
Margot Robbie.
Thank you.
Oh, I love Margot Robbie.
And she
Harley
produced,
Quinn.
Yes, she produced the movie too.
They just had the premiere down the street.
I went last night,
tell
darling.
us.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I saw the movie. I saw Margot and Allison Janney on the red carpet.
And
they looked amazing. And at the very end, they brought out the real Tonya Harding.
What?
Yes.
Yes. It was
What did she
amazing.
say?
Saw your
What did she
pictures.
say?
She didn't say anything. They just said, Margot brought her out and said, this is who the movie's about. And she kind of waved. And
Well, wait a minute.
Here's the
Wait,
thing.
hold on. Wait.
Yeah,
Is Tonya having sort of a resurgence? Are we rethinking
I think it's
her
Tonya
in
time.
his...
I think it's time to reevaluate Tonya.
Okay, yeah.
Are we bringing her in for a meeting? She's in town.
Right, bring her in.
Bring her in.
Blake, call
I'll
her.
get on it.
So listen, Margot says this. We never wanted her to be a victim of Tonya. She's definitely a victim of everyone's judgment. And I remember that. That's true,
Yes.
right? She's a victim of abuse, but we didn't want her to feel like a victim. We didn't want her to feel like a villain either. We just wanted to be a person. Just wanted her to be a person. And I think that's what they do. And then, she's being beaten by her mother and she hits back. I mean, this is a
She's a
film
feisty little girl.
that really puts domestic violence kind of front and center, and it's uncomfortable to watch while also being hilariously funny.
And I hear that Allison Janney
Steals the film.
Is gonna get an Oscar.
Completely steals the film. It is the campus, most outrageous.
It may be
brilliant
my favorite
performance.
movie I've seen this year.
I think so. I'd say that for me too.
Really? Your favorite movie of the year?
Well, Thor Ragnarok is my
Okay.
number one, I suppose. So this is equal number one. Okay. I mean, I've read some reviews that say it's cruel and it's making fun of her in a way that you felt that our film about Anna Nicole Smith made fun of her.
You'll never forget that, will
But
you?
I don't think it does. I
Dark
really
Roots,
think
Anna
it
Nicole.
does.
20 years
production.
later, and I'm still getting...
Oh, honey.
Give notes once it's
I don't
locked.
forget.
Don't give notes.
Oh, is that the rule in
Don't
Hollywood?
give notes. I loved it.
I feel badly for Tonya. I mean, she was banned for life from the Figure Skating Association. Margot Robbie, this is a career maker.
Good,
Next,
good. I love her.
She's playing Sharon Tate.
Oh, yes, that's right.
In,
And she looks just like her, too.
Yeah, so that's,
Is it a Sharon Tate movie or a Manson movie? What
it's
is-
the Manson movie.
Oh, wow.
It's what's his face? Hateful Eight. Tarantino.
Tarantino, yes, doing Sharon Tate.
Tarantino.
Doing
That's a big.
I know.
The red flag.
The gruesomeness of Tarantino and the gruesomeness of Manson together. We'll see
I
what
have
happens.
anxiety about
Yeah.
it too because I've always felt anxious watching. I don't quite get on the same page
Right.
with the audience with
On
his
Tarantino?
films. Yeah.
For another
Yeah.
show.
For another show, yes. I, Tonya, opens today. Check your local listings. Okay, so we got to take a quick break. So here's our question.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to this. Yeah. What is the highest grossing movie of 2017? You're listening to Wow Report on Radio. Andy will be right back.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. We're counting down top 10 things that made us go wow this week. I'm Fenton Bailey, co-founder of World of Wonder with Tom Campbell, James St. James, and Blake.
Hi, guys.
Fresh from a glamorous night on the red carpet last night.
Yeah.
So before the break, our question was, what is the highest grossing movie of 2017? I'm going to guess that it was Thor Ragnarok.
I'm going to guess Wonder Woman.
2017 is this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just double checking. I think it's wrong, but I'm gonna say Wonder Woman 2.
Wonder Woman was number 2. Thor was number 6. Beauty and the Beast was number 1.
I didn't. Did you see
I
it?
did see that.
I heard the most beautiful piece in NPR about the one of the writers of the songs and how he died of AIDS. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, I have seen that. There's a documentary about him,
it's
actually.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So marching on with our countdown, what's at number 7, Tom?
Number 7.
At number 7, something that made me go wow, but not just me, but also Eddie Murphy, Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, Sean Diddy Holmes, Tiffany Haddish, Wanda Sykes, David Spade, and Brad Pitt and Elon Musk.
Well, that's quite a rogues
We
gallery.
all went wow.
You were all there?
We all went wow. Chris Rock was performing his comedy stand-up tour at the Dolby Theater down the street. It was like a 4-day. Oh, you don't like Chris Rock?
No, but there was a huge scandal when he performed it in New York. He must have taken it out because there was a whole big thud that happened when he did that. We'll talk about that in a second.
It was genius. I've seen him before. It's weird to pay. I bought really expensive tickets. They weren't horrible, but I was like in the 3rd row. And I've been trying to buy tickets just to, for this show, which I can't write off. And but I just want to do things and get out and laugh and be among people, you know what I'm saying, and not be home and sad about the current administration. And it was a blast. And I didn't even realize I got such fancy tickets that I got a Amazon box the day before that had my Chris Rock Blackout tour hat
Did you get a lanyard?
A water ballad, a lanyard that gets you nothing, basically.
Right. But it's a lanyard.
But it's a lanyard.
Yes.
And a backpack. So I felt very, very fancy. But he's so funny. He talked about divorce in a hilarious way. I'm going to try to do some of Chris Rock's material. But he was like, he talks about, throughout the thing, he does it very classily. I'm going to junk it all together. But he's like, I got divorced. And he goes, don't clap. He goes, only people should be clapping are lawyers. He goes, I was a dick. I didn't do the right thing. He goes, in a relationship, for a relationship to work, you can't always be playing lead guitar. Sometimes you've got to play tambourine. And he goes, and you can't play it like this, like all angry, like boom, boom. You got to play it like, I'm playing the tambourine, like all that. And then he had this long story later on about how he'd actually cheated on his wife. They were married.
Wait, ladies and gentlemen, Detox.
Oh, in the house.
That's fabulous. Detox can't see us, of course.
Exactly. Because Detox is wearing a onesie, striped with a pink
striped
tag.
onesie, fresh from prison.
But he said, over the 16-year marriage, he was on the road, and he slept with 3 different women, and the women's side.
That seems pretty.
And he
pretty
said
small.
And he
potatoes.
said,
When you're on the road, you usually do more.
He's on the road for 6 years. You said
you're killing my punchline, because his whole thing was like 3 women, and the women were all like, "Oh my god!" And he goes, "I know, I'm a dog." And he goes, men sleep with other women because they want something different. He goes, once your wife finds out, your marriage is never the same. But then he said, I know what your women are thinking. I know what your women are thinking. He was like, but I know what you men are thinking, which is, only 3? Killed my joke. But it's true. But it's totally true. It's like only 3. Like, God, being around straight people and hearing it was a lot of relationship stuff. How do men and women do it? I don't know.
And I mean, he is very famous and very rich, and you're on the road, and people are throwing themselves at you. Yes.
Panties on the stage.
3 and 16 years. He said his friends say to him, like, "Oh my God, you're a romantic. You must have really loved her." She's devastated. He also talks about this funny things about. He went to his oldest daughter is going to high school, and he went to the parent teacher, like faculty student body thing, and he said, I hated it. And I'm like, why? He goes, because they're lying to the children. There's an assistant principal, vice principal, saying you can be anything you want to be. And he goes, I looked around. He goes, there's maybe 4 of those 200 kids that can be anything they want to be. He goes, I see 20 Uber drivers just right in the front row. And he was like the realistic thing of like, you can be good at anything. If you're good at something, you can succeed at it. He goes, why did you grow up wanting to be an assistant vice principal? Was that were you walking around with like that? And then his other thing was, which I thought was great, and kind of his only time he got kind of political was, he goes, they also say the assistant vice principal said, this is a bully-free zone. We have 0 tolerance for bullies. He goes, well, there are bullies in the world, and I like my kids to find out before they turn 21. He goes, the problem with America is we got rid of all the bullies. So when one came along, Donald Trump, we didn't know what to do with him. So he just like went right through.
That is so true.
It is. I can't sell the jokes. It was hilarious. It was star-studded. I think they were all backstage away from me, but it was really fun. And he's touring the country, so you can see.
Madison Square Garden in New York tonight, and close out its run at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn tomorrow night.
Great.
Oh, you can cut all of this out for me or whatever that, but I did want to say that there was a thing in Page 6 recently where he was testing out this material in New York City at like a Chuckle Hut or a Laugh Factory or something like that. And he got on stage and he started doing this bit about how I ain't ever going to talk to another woman again because they all want money. They all are going you say hello to them and they're going to ask for $1 million like that. And it went over like a lead balloon, and everyone was saying like, no, this is not the time to be doing your sexual misconduct jokes.
And comedians go to the Chuckle Hut to work out material to see if it lands.
And it didn't.
And it was not that.
But it was all over the papers, and people were furious with him.
He's done that material before, and it's worked just fine. It's just that, like, I guess we're in a
weird time right now where that does not land.
He negotiated the waters very well.
It sounded very humbling, actually, what he was saying.
He has a way. And he's very funny. Chris Rock still has it.
Number 6.
James, what were you doing? You've been out on vacation, and what did you bring back for us at number 6?
I did bring back. No, I brought back presents for both of you, but then I didn't bring them in.
Did you eat them?
How fulfilling for our audience.
What about me?
Yeah.
We'll
I didn't bring back anything. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just bought presents for myself. I was in St. Petersburg, Florida, visiting my dad, who, delightful. He's 80 years old. There was a lot of Fox News on. I'm not going to lie. But St. Petersburg, Florida is a really neat little community. It's by Tampa, and it was a retirement community on the beach, and now it's sort of got a hipster vibe. It's got all sorts of boutiques and antique stores and bars and clubs and everything. And the boys are really, really cute there, just adorable. They have a number of museums, and they have a Dolly museum, a Salvador Dali museum. I don't know how they got it and why it's not in Spain or France or something, but it's in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's this giant, like Frank Gehry-esque building with like these bug-eye windows that are really fantastic. It houses an amazing collection of Salvador Dali art. And there was an exhibition there of Schiaparelli, and it was Schiaparelli and Dali, fashion and surrealism.
Yeah, right.
And it was Schiaparelli.
He's in a pod.
Yes, it was. She collaborated with him frequently in the 1930s and 40s.
She's the one who did the lobster hat.
No, she did a lobster dress. Oh. The Duchess of Windsor wore. She did a lobster telephone that you might remember. The hat you're thinking of is an upside down shoe.
That's it.
Rosalind Russell wore in The Women, and Catherine Hellman wore in Brazil.
Oh my gosh!
You remember? It's sort of perches like that. It's absolutely fantastic. She did a very famous bib necklace that was clear plastic when plastic was first invented, and it's filled with ants, and so it just looks like there's ants crawling on you. She did a glass that was all a jacket that was all shot glasses filled with whiskey. I mean, like she just did some really wacky things, really fun. That was really beautiful. There's also another exhibit that was at the Museum of Fine Arts, and it was Star Wars costumes. All the Star Wars costumes from all the movies. It was at a Denver museum is where it started, and they said it was harder to get tickets to than Hamilton. It was like every nerd from around the world that came to see it. And you think about like the iconic outfits. You think of Darth Vader and Princess Leia and Princess Leia's bikini and Luke Skywalker and everything. But then you remember all the Natalie Portman Queen Amidala outfits in those three movies. Phantom, the big hairdos and the big wigs and the big like medieval sort of like cloaks. And
do they look good? Because I often think costume exhibitions look kind of manky. You know?
Well, some of the early stuff, there's like some of the sand the creatures and the Han Solo and stuff that doesn't look good, but it's all very like Mad Maxy. Some of that early stuff is, and it's fascinating. It's all burlap and with new wavy looking sort of.
May I ask, did your dad go with you?
He did not. In fact, I went with my sister. My sister doesn't know anything about Star Wars, and at one point she said very loudly, she said, wait, Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia are brother and sister? And there was a groan that went up. All the nerds that were there were like, oh! And we were like literally run out of the museum with pitches, forks, and torches.
Monster.
I was like, Cynthia, you cannot say that out loud.
And of course, for the little kids who don't know, that's a huge spoiler alert, right? It ruins the whole thing.
I hope little kids aren't listening to us.
Like 40-year-old spoiler alert.
I kind of love your sister more because of that. I want to meet her now.
But anyway, it was.
What else doesn't she know?
You know, it's a big time for museums. Is that the Museum of Toilet Sex in Berlin, right?
Which, yes, I think I really want to go see that. And then there's a Museum of Failure that's opening here in Los Angeles, and I think we need to go to that, which I don't know.
Do you think we're in the exhibits? We're in the window. Do you think we're part of the Museum of Failure?
Trump definitely is. I can confirm that from a picture I've seen. Yeah.
Number 5.
Number 5. This is a tricky one because it's Apple's ground scraper. You know, Apple have built this massive headquarters up in Cupertino, where they've been based basically since they launched. And it's this giant ring. It's only 4 stories high, but the ring itself, it's a completely circular building, like a polo mint or a lifesaver. There you go. And we call them polos in England. And
little polo mint. Hello, darling. That's the polo mint, darling.
Fuck you. And it's massive. This ring is massive. It's a mile to go around it.
It's like the Guggenheim.
And they're calling it's called One Infinite Loop because it's a loop.
Like the Guggenheim.
This is the new one that they're designing?
This is the new one. It's built, it's open, but not to the public, of course. And I've just been reading about it in Wallpaper and The Guardian, and it is gorgeous. It looks amazing.
Wallpaper?
You know how much it cost them? It cost them $5 billion, which I guess if you're Apple isn't much.
They're paying in cash for that, by the way. 20s.
Right. Making it rain. Making it rain.
But I think it's like, you know, the iPhone X is their new product. But I think this is the O. So it's the X to the O, the O to the X. That's it.
D to the E to the T to the O to the hold it.
XOXO.
It's a detox call.
Okay. One building holds 12,000 people. Oh, Oh, God. Holds 12,000 people.
We're just so excited to see each other. We can't stop talking.
It's made up of 845-foot tall panels of curved glass. So imagine it's like a giant Apple store. There you go. It's like a giant Apple store, circular. And they got the largest,
Wait, does it look like an
biggest
apple?
kitchen, one of the biggest kitchens in the U.S. No, it's a circle. It is a hollow circle like a lifesaver. It's 2.1 million square feet of Steve Jobsian, Joni Ivesian, Norma Fosterian genius. That's what Wired said. Because Norman Foster designed it with Joni Ives, who designed the iPods and all the Apple products. And of course, Steve Jobs. Now, the thing about this thing is, Steve Jobs pitched it to the local council. It was his last ever public appearance. There's a video of it. And Blake, we should post it online because it is quite remarkable to see Steve Jobs on the edge of crossing over, talking passionately about this building, which all the pictures look amazing. I mean, it's just a designer's paradise. And of course, it's in the new trend of open plan office space. And, you know, they have the industrial design.
So they can sell more headphones.
Yes. So they got the industrial designers next to the font designer, next to the sound designer. And it's supposed to be a sort of utopian work environment. Isn't that nice? But the senior VP of hardware technologies, when he was told about this, said, and he was shown the floor plan, he was like, fuck that, fuck you, fuck this is bullshit. So they had to build him a little building off to the side because he wouldn't do it. Because, you know, I think the myth is that, you know, open plan office space is great, everyone collaborates, everyone rubs shoulders.
It's actually just a cacophony of everybody getting on everyone's nerves.
Welcome to the world of wonder.
Exactly, James. I'm looking at you. Yeah.
I had to get moved from the open space because I was too loud and I was annoying everyone.
I remember.
Right. Yes. And other people have said, you know, it's inward looking and there's no public access. I mean, they even had to close a major road to build this thing, and that it really mimics corporatized white flight. Because, you know, it's in the suburbs. It's just, and it looks like a spaceship has landed.
I would say it probably takes off in case things get really bad.
And then so the debate really is, you know, Joni Ives says, is it Johnny Ives or Joni? And it's spelled Jony. He says, you know, he loves the idea that this building is completely adaptable. And he compares it to the iPhone, which is itself completely adaptable, because with the apps, you download the apps and its function and purpose changes. Yes. But other people are arguing that it's a monument, it's a tomb, it's like a pyramid, really.
Time will tell.
Yeah. Well, thanks for engaging with me on that, James.
Well, you know what they do say? They say that old whores and ugly buildings gain respect with time.
Gee, I hope that's true.
I think the building looks absolutely beautiful.
You do? I want to see a picture of it.
I want to go on tour. I hope
it looks a lot like a polo mint. If you can imagine that.
Apple's new headquarters, dubbed Apple Park, is located in Cupertino.
It takes a little to please
California. Okay, I'm going to get my revenge with the trivia question. No. How many Apple stores are in the U.S.? Or is it in the U.S. or in the world?
One at the Grove.
In the U.S., okay.
One on Fifth Avenue.
You're listening to The Wow Report on Radio Andy, SiriusXM.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report.
Welcome back to The Wow Reports, our countdown of the top 10 things that made us go, wow! This week I was just rhapsodizing about Apple's new HQ up in Cupertino, being mocked mercilessly by you two, I must say. And so the question is, how many Apple stores are there in the U.S.? That was the question before the break.
Based on my count, 10. But no, I'm going to make a stab and say there are 20,000.
Oh, goodness.
That's too many. That's too many.
I'm going to say there's at least 5 per state. I'm going to say, what is that, 50 times 5?
2,500.
2,500. I'm going to say 1,000.
I'm going to say 400.
Oh, way too high.
272.
I win!
Oh, you win. No, I win.
You
I'm the
win.
closest.
I feel like every iPhone is an Apple store.
So there are 10 billion.
Thank you.
So, as you might have gathered, I'm here with James St. James and Tom Campbell and Blake.
We've broken his spirit.
And yes, I'm a crushed man. Number 4.
Number 4.
If you watched the classic Dick Van Dyke Show, the black and white show where he's married to Mary Tyler Moore.
Oh, wait, did you go see it? Oh, I can't believe that. I'm so excited. Oh my God, keep going.
You also know the less praised actress who played Sally Rogers, the wonderful Rosemary, who was the blonde, the writer with the bow in her hair. She went on to do Hollywood Squares.
Before that, but she's been working since she was 3 years old.
It's a documentary about her that I cannot recommend high enough. It's called Wait for Your Laugh. And I think it was kickstarted. It's directed by a guy named Jason Wise, who I happened to hear speak afterwards.
She's 93 now, isn't she?
She's 94.
94.
She's in a wheelchair, but she's the longest famous person alive. She's been famous for the longest time.
She was Baby Rosemary, wasn't she?
Yes.
During the vaudeville era.
And the early stuff, they have to do recreations, and they're a little, okay, but the story is so compelling. And what makes it and why you must see it over and over again is she gives an interview. Just the vault. Her mind is still sharp.
Wow.
And she was Shirley Temple before Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
Shirley Temple was the star of movies. Baby Rosemary,
was Baby Rosemary
was the
and Baby
star
Peggy.
of radio.
Yeah.
And she was an illegitimate child. Her father had 2 families. He wasn't married to her mother, and he had 2 other children that named the same. He had a stepsister named Rosemary.
That's so weird.
And she was in a club because her mother was like a party girl, obviously, and they were there, and Rosemary started singing along with the singer of the time, whose name even escapes me, and she brought her on stage, and a star was born. And she used to do like Sophie Tucker impersonations.
Yes!
So she was always like a little baby with a grown-up person's voice. And instead of having trouble transitioning from childhood to adulthood, she has been a vital part of like every moment of pop culture in the past century. And the last thing she did, which was a few years ago, she is retired and hates it, is that she did like a voice for an animatronic cartoon. So it's like from vaudeville, and she was the youngest child. She was like 5 when she had a coast-to-coast radio show. When radio was new and having a coast to, you got in touch with millions of people for the first time.
But weren't there stories too about how she, like Bugsy Siegel was a friend of hers?
Her father was like the go-to, and she explains him better than I can, but like he was like 4th ranking, but he would just do it like what they said. Go over there and get that money. Go over there and break those knees. But Al Capone
yeah,
was like her godfather. They summoned her, like, come here, come upstairs.
Come give your Uncle Al a hug.
Are they taking care of you? Okay. And she was close with Bugsy Siegel and his girlfriend from the movie, her name was, you know what I mean? It was the movie with
Annette Bening.
Annette Bening, yes. That role. And she opened Vegas. That first night when Bugsy Siegel had the Flamingo and had the show, they got Jimmy Durante. And she was the open for Jimmy Durante. And she was famous as a child for doing a Jimmy Durante impersonation. So if you don't know who Jimmy Durante is, I'm sorry. But and she went on. She was in a Broadway hit with Top Banana with Phil Silvers. And then she finally got the Dick Van Dyke Show. And she has this hilarious thing where it's like, they call me up. Carl Reiner did the Dick Van Dyke Show, and he was sort of based on his life. And they wanted a female writer, which at the time didn't really exist.
But before Marlo Thomas, before Mary Tyler Moore, she was the first single working woman on television.
But she's just hilarious, and she was like, they're like, you want to be on the Dick Van Dyke Show? She goes, what's the Dick Van Dyke? And, and Dick Van Dyke was actually at my screening too, talking about her afterwards. And they went to her and they said, we needed somebody else to play the other one. She goes, you need to use my friend Maury Amsterdam. So I called up Maury Amsterdam. I said, they're going to give you a call from the Dick Van Dyke Show. He goes, what's the Dick Van Dyke? She has that kind of humor.
But does it connect with the present in any way? Like, what's her take on things now? Because you said her mind is incredibly sharp.
I mean, it's more about telling her story, and the fact that she holds all this information, and
she is the 20th century.
After Dick Van Dyke, she did not get along with Mary Tyler Moore. Because she thought the Dick Van Dyke Show was going to be about The Office, and Mary Tyler Moore became a huge thing.
Yeah.
And there's the other revelation. She was married to a guy named Buddy Guy, who
and they had a place.
They were deeply in love.
And they had just a small little house
in the valley, and they're still there.
They never went Hollywood.
He was very and he was Bing Crosby's trumpeter all those years. And Bing Crosby used to have a coast-to-coast radio show, and it would start with like, and it was Buddy Guy. And he took all of this color film footage. So you see color film footage of the Dick Van Dyke Show you'd never seen before. It's amazing. Right. And then the last stupid thing is she did Mary Tyler Moore, then the Doris Day Show, then Hollywood Squares. She was a huge hit on that.
And Murder, She Wrote. She was always in Murder. Yes. She was always in The Love Boat. She was always, In
1977, she couldn't get hired, and so she put together a group called 4 Girls 4. Do you remember this?
No.
Margaret Whiting, Rosemary Clooney, Helen O'Connell, and Rosemary, and they toured the country, and they went from making $1,000 a night to like $20,000 a night.
You should bring her out of retirement. Give her a
know.
show.
I know.
Actually, I saw Rosemary once on Hollywood Boulevard here.
Yeah.
She was in her wheelchair this was about 5 years ago, and I screamed, "Oh my God, Rosemary!" And I ran up to her and I was like, I need a picture. And she started crying because at that point she was sort of, nobody was recognizing her. And
she's on Twitter. She's still alive on Twitter.
She
and
is.
they said
I follow her.
If you want to say something nice to Rosemary, she reads all her tweets.
Oh.
And she comments back.
Yeah.
Well, we must tweet her about this.
Yes.
RosemaryMovie.com. Check that for the
It's
dates
coming
and
out.
times.
It's in festival mode now, but
Right.
it'll be coming to you. You must see Rosemary. Wait for the laugh.
Yeah, why is it called that?
Because she told Dick Van Dyke, it's timing, it's comedy timing. So it's like every time Dick Van Dyke was learning, everybody was like learning from her, and she goes, Dick, wait for your laugh. She would tell people how to like milk the crowd. And she says at one point, she goes, I would have the crowd in the palm of my hand, and nobody had him like I did. Like she was this incredible performer. Sorry.
That's good. No, a little glow. I'm glowing. James, what do you got at number 3?
Number 3.
Another incredible performer, Robbie Williams, one of my all-time favorites.
From Take That. I was going to say One Direction.
British superstar who's
Yes.
never really been able to break through in America.
No.
He's had a few hits, Angels, I remember a couple others.
Stop trying to make Robbie Williams happen.
No, but I've got to here because he's done a remake of 9 to 5, the Dolly Parton classic. And on the surface, you hear that and you think, what the fuck? No, there's no reason on earth. Dolly Parton's 1980 mega hit does not need to be remade. It does not need to be reinterpreted. And you don't need a man to co-opt this feminist message of the song.
Right.
But then you listen to it and it's very weird. It's speeded up a little bit. It's it's weird hearing a man singing the song, blah, blah, blah. But then it kicks into this sort of Scissor Sister-esque.
Yes.
You know what's interesting about Robbie Williams is, have you read Feel, the biography?
No, and I'd love to.
You'll love it. It's almost 500 pages long. It came out in 2004. Everything you could ever want to know about Robbie Williams, who's a very self-regarding, tortured star. I mean, he's narcissistic, and he admits it. And so it's a really interesting meditation on fame, written by Chris Heath, who's now written a sequel called Reveal, which is also 500 pages long. So there's like 2 volumes of sort of Robbie Williams autobiography. You should read them, James.
Yeah, no, I do love him. He's funny and he's smart as a whip, and he knows he writes pop songs like Elton John and Bernie Williams write pop songs. He gets it.
You can listen to the Robbie Williams cover of Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 on the Wow Report, worldofwonder.net/Radio Andy.
One thing I want to say, I think 9 to 5 is one of the best songs ever written. Yeah. It's like a Cole Porter song. The lyrics, tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition, yawn and stretch.
As couplets go, that's pretty good.
I think everybody should record that song.
Really?
I think everyone should record it 10 times a year because it should be part of the American Songbook.
We'll do it.
Okay.
Number 2.
Number 2.
If this doesn't make you go, wow, if I get that dead-eyed expression from you for this item, James.
I don't give you dead-eyed expressions. That's just my eyes.
I got to talk about it. A new gold record. Okay, so this is the album that was launched into space by NASA in 1977 on Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. There's only 2 copies of it in the world. I should say in the universe, actually, because it was put on. It was put on this, and it's. One of them has left the solar system.
Wait, I vaguely remember this. Is it like people saying hello in a million different languages?
Yes,
and then there was
exactly.
like jingle bells and...
The sounds of earth, waves, laughter, earthquake, crickets, chimpanzees, thunder, rain, footsteps, a baby's cry, the wet smack of a kiss. There's spoken greetings in 55 languages, songs by humpback whales. The musical selection is really interesting. Yes, there's Bach and Mozart. Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good.
Yes, I remember that,
right?
yeah.
That's a good one.
Blind Willie Johnson's Dark Was the Night, which I actually don't know, but... And Panpipes from the Solomon Islands.
Oh, 9 to 5 had not been written yet, just to be clear.
Right. And they also put pictures on it, mother nursing a child, astronaut floating in space, And they also put a picture of human genitalia on it, James. So that should perk you up.
This is what I want to know.
Male and female?
Yes.
Just some random people at NASA?
So the thing is, they wanted to send a message to aliens.
There are dick pics in outer space.
That is, yes. It left the solar system.
But it's so weird because you think aliens are going to get this and they're going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Well, exactly. Are they going to know how to play it? Because the thing is,
how do you play it?
Most records play at 33 revs per minute, right? 33 and a third or something. This plays at 16 and 2/3, which is also it. And it's actually a record. It's not vinyl because vinyl would have deteriorated.
Sure.
It's actually copper. And they coated it with gold, so it really is.
So it's like a CD. It's like the first CD or something.
Well, it's actually a record.
A groove.
The aliens are going to need a record player.
Well, they're coming back in style.
They are.
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like it's a folly. I feel like it was a publicity
But where's
stunt.
the other one? One's gone. Where's the other one?
The other one's on its way. I mean, it's
Back
13. Here. It's in space.
Wait, how do you
Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 both set off within a couple of months of each other. Voyager 1 has left the solar system.
There isn't a copy that we can listen to.
It is 13 billion miles away, and in 40,000 years, it's going to go by a star, near a star. It's not going near a star until 40,000 years from now. Yes. Here's the thing. There's only 2, but now, thanks to crowdfunding and to Osmo Records,
it's available on iTunes.
Yes. Well, no, you can buy it as a 3 LP box set, and it's $98.
And how are you going to play it?
Does it have the people's junk in it?
It's got everything. It's got the
getting
pictures.
it?
I got it. It's like I saw it and I was like, yes, I have to have this.
And you're going to torture everybody at Christmas with whale sounds.
Shouldn't we have a
and
listening
pan
party
flutes?
here?
It's an artifact. We'll have a listening party. Yes.
Bonjour.
Everyone gets sort of spacey. You can have an alien sitting.
And we'll print out the
Britney at her listening
115
party.
images. We'll have an
Tag.
exhibition.
Yeah.
James can show his junk. You know.
I don't know about that.
But you know, the funny twist of this is that they had to remaster it to reissue it as a thing. They couldn't find the master.
So what do they do?
Well, they found it in the end.
Oh,
but,
you big tease.
Okay.
Act 3, they find it.
We have to take a quick break. When we come back, the Resistor of the Week.
Yes.
And the number one thing, of course, that made us go,
Wow.
So Wow Report on Radio and SiriusXM.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm here with Tom and James and Blake, and it's that fabulous moment you've all been waiting for when we reveal the number one thing that made us go wow. This week. Yes. Wow.
Number 1.
I read an article by Rick Moran in The Atlantic, and the headline is, How to Hire Fake Friends and Family.
Pay attention.
So, there is this company that's been around for 8 years, family-romance.com in Japan, where basically you go on and you can hire... Are you coughing again?
I'm sorry.
You can hire a fake father, a fake parent, a fake groom, a fake friend, and it's quite inexpensive. It's about $20 for a session. No, sorry, $200 for a 4-hour session. That's like $50
And can you go with them anywhere, or do they just come to your house?
Yeah, they'll do whatever you need. Like one guy, businessman, flew to Vegas and he got 5 fake friends and they flew with him to take pictures for Facebook and then they flew back.
Oh.
It sounds like a Jennifer Aniston rom-com.
I was going to say,
right?
it's a definite movie in there.
You're my fiance and you're coming back to meet my parents.
We're having so many ideas on it. That's a great idea for a show. It seemed unreal.
Yeah, that is a good idea for a reality show
Well,
every
didn't
day.
she already do that with her gay best friend, the Paul Rudd one?
Yeah, but we're going to make a reality show.
okay.
Make millions.
In an increasingly isolated and entitled society, the CEO predicts a la carte human interaction becomes the new norm.
I would definitely use it. The other night I was invited to a party and I didn't have anyone to go with, and I went by
Didn't ask
myself.
me.
No, I did ask you, and you were in Vegas. Remember, I
No,
called.
it's me he didn't ask.
You didn't ask me.
No, I did ask you, and you said you slept through it.
We're fake
yeah.
friends.
Well,
I think it
now
costs you
I'm
$50.
charging $50 to go with you anywhere you ask me to go. So there,
Actually, I mean, I guess it makes sense in Japanese business culture. For example, there's a situation where if you make some mistake, you have to go and bow and scrape to the boss. And so he will do that for you. So you can have him go and do the apologies. Or, there's often, there's gay people in Japan, obviously, but there's a huge pressure to get married, to heterosexual marriages. So you can hire a fake groom and have a wedding and take all the pictures. I mean, it sort of makes sense.
It's sort of like an Instagrammable life.
Yeah,
you just see the picture, right? Like it's me on the private jet. Not really.
We talked about that the private jet where you can go on and
Why not have
for $200 you go and you get your picture taken on a jet. You bring a friend, you bring a boyfriend with you.
But guys, you're my fake friends, and I love you so much. I don't want to get new fake friends. Go ahead.
Well, no, the journalist was saying, the writer was saying, well, this isn't real. And he says, our motto, he being Ishi Yuichi, who is the founder, he says, our motto is more than real. There are less concerns, there's less misunderstanding and conflict, and our clients can expect better results.
There you go.
He says, I believe the term real is misguided. Take Facebook. Everything is curated to such an extent that it hardly matters. It's
sad.
How dare you call out my profile picture where I have a neck and a chin? How dare you?
I would do it. I definitely think. I mean, it is sort of sad and it's sweet, but can you choose who you want your boyfriend to be and your best?
I guess so.
Or do they just send over? Is it like a maid service where they just send whoever?
You flick through a book and pick who you want.
A book with like a laminated book, or just that they send to you in the mail. This sounds like a bunch of whoas that don't give you a sex without a happy ending. Whoas without a happy ending. I want to jump ahead. I'm so sorry to our Resistors of the week because I do think we have 3 Resistors of the week. It's been a good week for Resistance.
I'm gonna push back against one.
Okay, I know you are.
Okay.
Resistor of the week.
Billy Bush
on Stephen Colbert, the op-ed at New York Times. The president, Trump, your president, your father's president, was saying, that wasn't my voice on the Access Hollywood thing saying grab her pussy. And he is on record saying, bullshit.
But I feel like he's using this as a comeback tour and let's make Billy into the hero here. And I'm not ready for it.
I am ready to welcome Billy back to. I am. I don't think he did such a horrible thing. He laughed along. Well, I don't know what I would have done in that same situation.
He didn't even say it. Why are we blaming the person who just happened to be in the room?
I've never liked him. I've always thought he was a stormy little fuck.
Okay,
but Trump's the person you should be.
Yes. Number 2, the company Patagonia.
Okay, now this I'm on board.
Trump is about to take away, unless the courts stop him, millions of acres of national monuments.
Bears ears and
Patagonia. If you go to their website, if you haven't seen it, the full screen is like the president has stolen your land, and they have promised to put money up to sue the president to stop this from happening.
And the most galling thing about it is when he was saying that he was doing this for the Native Americans. When Trump was saying that, and it's hurting the Native Americans. It's just it's horrible. I'm sorry. It's bullshit.
And number 3, Time Magazine just came out. Resistor of the year, of the week, the person of the year, the women who blew the whistle.
The silence breakers.
The silence breakers.
The Me Too generation.
The Me Too generation. I have to say, we have not mixed feelings, but it's hard. It's hard to take all this information every day of people that are regarded men who are regarded highly, who realize, oh my God, I had this thing, and that we live in a society that let it happen, and we're all complicit to a certain degree.
It's a good thing, but it's also
but when you
upsetting.
see all those women on the cover, it's like, wow, this is a watershed moment, and let's hope we all emerge from it better, stronger, faster. Kitty cats.
Beautifully said. That's all we have time for today. So start your free trial of WOW's new streaming service, WOW Presents Plus. www.wow-presents.com. And we got original series from Valentina, Detox, Bob the Drag Queen, an award-winning lineup of films, docs, drag, and LGBT shows.
It's good stuff.
James. And also, you go to the WOW Report, and you can check out the lucky recipients of the Wowies that were handed out in a star-studded ceremony at the WOW Presents Space.
It was really fun. Oh, my God.
It was amazing. Tune in to the Trixie and Katya Show, Wednesdays on Viceland. $1 Million Listings LA is back. Thursdays, 9 p.m. on Bravo. Thanks for tuning in.
The plugs are over.
Same time, same place next week. Until then, go out and do something that makes the world go.
Wow! Goodbye.